Hey guys, how are you? Made another video today. So, I'm not going to talk for long. I gotta be up early, and I've been watching YouTube videos anyway, so I just wanted to check in, and then I really wanted to talk about something, and I know I don't have many watchers, but this is something really important, so if anybody hears this, it really means a lot, like, just to get this message out there. And, like, I've said in videos before, I'm a server. And I want to remind people, especially during this season, to tip your servers. And I get that a lot of people go in and they're like, well, I've been shopping, I don't have as much money as I usually do, so I can't tip. And I know that's a thing that happens during this year, even though you don't see it quite as often because people are feeling more generous. But there are those who are less likely to tip during this time of year for the exact because, well, I've already spent so much money on gifts or whatever. But I want to remind people that your servers also need to spend, they also need to get gifts. They've also got family and friends they've got to buy. You're not the only one with family and friends and people you need to get gifts for. We need to get gifts for our family and friends. And unlike you, we don't get a paycheck every 2 weeks or every week or whenever you get yours. Our money is what you give us. We can't buy presents if you don't pay us for our service that we provide you. Because you are the one who pays us. It is your job to pay your server. And whether or not you think that's wrong or whatever is your personal opinion, but by boycotting paying us is not going to solve it. It's not going to fix it. It's not going to make companies more likely to pay us just because you don't give us. You're going to put us at an inconvenience. And just because you're having a difficult time paying for your presents and then the food you go out to eat to get does not mean you can't tip us or you shouldn't tip us. You still need to tip us because in the end, we still have to go out and buy Christmas presents. And if we're going out to eat, we as servers, especially us as servers, need to know to tip our servers. And I know I do, and I know there are some servers out there that don't, which is really twisted because they're like, oh, well, I've had, bad service, or, so many people stiff me, so I'm going to stiff, carry on the bad luck, which is twisted in my opinion. I should be able to see, oh, I have a server. It's great. That means I'm going to be tipped properly, even though it doesn't always happen. But I just want to remind people very, very much, please tip your server, especially this time of year. We need the money just as badly as you do. And if you can't afford to tip, don't go out to eat. At least not to a restaurant where you have to. You shouldn't be spending enough money to be paying for just your food. You shouldn't calculate the amount of money you have. You should do with how much you expect to spend on food and then add another at least $5 or $6, at least, depending on how much you plan to spend. If you plan to spend $25, plan to have another $5. So plan for $30 and then put $5 towards food. If that's how you're doing it, don't be like, oh, well, I have $30, that means I have $30 to eat. No, that means you have $25 to eat because you need at least $5 to tip. That's how you have to be doing it. Don't go out to eat if you can't afford it. If you want food, if you don't have time to go home and cook, then go to McDonald's. McDonald's doesn't ask for tips. Go to Five Guys. Five Guys doesn't expect you to tip. I mean, I think you can, but you don't have to. There's sub spots. They don't expect you to tip. There are plenty of places out there that don't ask you to tip your servers. The people who make your food. But restaurants do. Sit-down restaurants do. And if you can't tip your server, please don't go to them. It's not fair to us because you don't understand how much time and effort a table takes, and how much it prevents us from taking care of another table or another set of people, because servers are only sat one guest at a time, and then we have to wait for the rest of the servers to all get tables before we can get a table again. So if there's 8 people on and it's a slow night, and you come in with no intent to tip, or even an intent to tip if you buy under this much, or tip a very specific amount, like $3, or I'll leave it $3. If you go in an attempt to not tip your server, or to tip them poorly, then you say we have 8 people on, that means we have to wait 7 more guests, or sets of guests, to come in before we get another table, and probably a very small section of 3 or 4 booths. And you'll be there for an hour. That's an hour where we can't be taking care of a guest that will actually tip us. And people, don't understand why sometimes we'll see a guest that doesn't tip and then not want to take care of them. But why would we? You're not tipping us. You have to remember how important tips are for us. And I want to remind you, most servers aren't low-end people. They aren't people who don't care, or don't have jobs, or don't have futures, or have done nothing with their lives. Most servers are struggling college kids that are working very hard to do something with their lives. And we need the money, and we need it now. And that's why we chose the job we chose. So just next time you go out, please remember to tip your server, because it drives me insane. I had a guest completely stiff me, and I was as pleasant as I could be. And I made sure, because we just talked about making sure you were pleasant to every guest the same. So I made sure when I went to one table close to them, I checked my tone of voice to make sure that it matched the same tone of voice I was using with them. And I didn't lower my tone of voice or make myself seem less happy for the second table. I made it seem more happy, and they still stiffed me. And I did everything I could for them. I was attentive. I made sure that they were never lacking in anything. And they still stiffed me. And that hurts. It makes us feel like we've done something wrong. Even if we haven't. Even if you just don't have the money. It makes us feel like we've failed in some way. We base our abilities on how much you're tipping us. Like, if I do bad, I know I did bad. And I will expect less of a tip. And I will not look there expecting for a $10 tip when I did a $5 service. You know what I mean? I just need you guys to remember that. That's all for this video. If you'd like to subscribe, follow me on Twitter at abnormalrealityx. My Twitter is at my abnormal world. My Tumblr is Sherlocked. I've got why can't I think right now? I can never think. Oh, my phone's so far away. I've got an Instagram. My Instagram is cold. My phone's cold. I don't know what my Instagram is, but my phone's cold. To me, my Instagram is bridgeb94. So yeah, follow me on things. Though you're probably not paying attention to this section. I really need to write it down one day. But all of it's on my Facebook. On my YouTube homepage. But y'all have a good night. Bye.